Welcome to the Yamaha aw4416 tutorial video. On the right side of the LCD display, below the red track arming buttons, you'll see a button there called Track. And on the track screen, the first screen, you're going to see the 16 tracks that you have. You're going to see a little bubble that says I above it for the input being monitored, if that's the case. There's also an M column for if the track is going to be muted and playing back and not playing back. Tracks 15 and 16 by default will always be muted if you are in record. Once you go to record 9 tracks at once, all of the track playback will be muted, so you must monitor from the inputs. On the second menu of track, you see the selection of the virtual tracks. The number 1 column is the default, but if you've done a good take on a track and you want to keep it, but you want to take another pass, then simply move the highlighted bubble over to a different number you wish to record on. The first track is going to retain its information. It just has a little outline circle around it, but now the second track is active. This is the stereo track screen. This is the meter you use for gauging the levels of the stereo track to be recorded to CD when you're doing the actual mix down to stereo. You will notice that the meter here looks a little bit different, shows you a lot more resolution. You will also notice a display of the tracks as they're being recorded. They show as 2 stripes. There is a small bubble to the left with an M above it. Once you press enter on that bubble, it becomes clear, and now the 16 tracks are muted. The stereo track will play back. It will play back through track faders number 1 and number 2, along with all of the adjustments you've made to those tracks. They don't play back clean. To get a clean stereo track playback, unmuted, press the Q button up to the left of the red track arming buttons. The stereo track button will flash. Select that, and now the stereo track will play without encumbrance out the monitor outs and be controlled only by that volume control. The stereo fader will no longer have any effect on it. You will also notice a stereo track erase box to the right of the stereo track display. If you wish to redo your stereo track, you can only have one of these. There are no virtuals. Then we recommend that you erase the track that you have done to make sure that you don't wind up with little bits and pieces left over at the end of it if you actually fade out of your song a little bit early.